Still trying to throw the ball. On first and goal, second and goal. Panicking at third. Fourth, I'm wishing for a muff.
Welcome to the 5-1 Huddle podcast. It's your host, Isaiah, with Coach D Lane. Excited for a new podcast for y'all today. We got combine talk. We're talking, we got quarterbacks, tight ends, receivers. We're recording this on a Saturday. Man, a lot of big topics for you. We also got Victor James here, head of Proven Grounds Training. He's going to fill us in on all the inside, the training, the type of things he does, to get guys ready for Combine Pro Days. Excited for that interview, and he's along with the pod with us today. Coach D Lane, how you feeling?
Man, I'm excited to be here, man. We're bringing some new work for you guys. Let's talk football, Coach James.
Let's get to it.
Excited to be here again for you guys today. It's episode 4. I got my man, Coach James here, my guy, Vic. Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. A big bro of mine, DJ Gomes, linked me with Coach James during this off season so I can get some extra work as a young coach. I told him I was reaching out to find ways to keep working and find ways to tap into the craft, of football and coaching. I got linked up with Coach James, and we having a good deal so far right now on the 7-on-7 circuit.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm excited for this interview. We're going to get into the depth of, we got the Combine going on today, Saturday. We're recording this. We had a lot of big times come up today. So, I want to get started. So, Victor, what got you into starting Proven Grounds?
So I started the company. I was a teacher at first, so I taught science, and students would ask me or heard about my sports background, and so they'd ask me, for some advice. And one kid turned into 3 kids, turned into 5 kids, and then it got to the point where I had to decide if I wanted to continue teaching or I couldn't do both at the same time. So I chose the training.
Oh yeah, the entrepreneur life, man, gotta respect it.
Starting off, let's start off with your playing career a little bit. I know you played quarterback, right, in high school. Let's talk about, because me and Zay both played on the offense. I played on the offense and defense side of the ball in high school, but neither one of us played quarterback. So can you please tell us how was the quarterback recruiting process like for you?
So for me personally, when I was a freshman, I was 5'3", like 1-14. So there was no recruiting process. Okay. By the time I left high school, I was like 5'11", 6 feet, 185. So it was a massive growth, but where I need to be at the timeline of my recruiting, I was a junior, I was 5'9", I'm not Kyler Murray fast at 16. So I had to walk on to the University of New Mexico. I didn't know enough about recruiting at the time. I actually talked to my dad about this recently, where I didn't start sending out tapes till after my senior year, which is way too late. By the time February hits, they're on to the next class. They're not even looking at seniors anymore. So when the schools I was talking to, they all liked my film, but they just didn't have any room for me.
So how was your playing time at University of New Mexico? What was the process? I know you're a walk-on, so it's a little different than players getting recruited. So what was that process like?
So it's different because the quarterback position is different in the fact that only one guy plays. You have situations where you have 2 quarterbacks playing, and usually the second guy coming in is a wildcat quarterback or something. So there's not really a comparison. They can't say which guy is better because they're using them in different ways. So for me, as a walk-on, you had to just scratch and claw for every opportunity. I came in with a highly recruited guy. He was 3rd in the state of Texas, 15 in the country. He was my roommate, good friend of mine, still to this day. But as a coach that comes in, they want their guy. If they're going to win or if they're going to keep their job or lose their job, they want to do it at their hand, not a guy that just walks in the door. So there was just a lot of a lot of hurdles along the way. I just keep it like that.
Let's try to transition to the point where you made the change from quarterback to receiver. How was that? How was going from the? I know you probably had a significant advantage as well. You know, knowing the route tree and everything, being at quarterback. So how was that transition for you from quarterback to receiver? Your senior year, correct?
Right, my senior year. So I had 4 offenses in 5 years I was at New Mexico. Learned a lot of football, a lot of different styles. It's actually helped me on this side now where New Mexico is a stepping stool school where it's not a destination. It's not Ohio State, it's not Florida, it's not Alabama. So every coach there is trying to get somewhere else. For example, my head coach in my senior year was the OC at Alabama. Mike Loxley is now the head coach at Maryland. My quarterback coach was T. Martin, who's now OC at Tennessee.
I know T. Martin.
Yeah. But the transition to quarterback, by the time I got to my senior year, I saw the writing on the wall. There weren't going to be many quarterback opportunities coming to me. So I talked to my coaches and decided to make a change. And pretty much was not a natural receiver.
Vic, I was just gonna ask you that because I done had like quarterbacks on the college level switch positions, running back or receiver. You know, you gonna get your ass made fun of at first. Like, what you coming from the quarterback room over here? But I done seen some, be able to ball too when they make the change.
Stand back did a great job with it.
Okay.
Julian Edelman, local guy DeAndre Burrell. He was a Utah State quarterback. Played with the Titans and the Packers. Natural, great hands.
Okay.
I lived on the jug machine. I had to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can name a few that. I mean, it seems like QB to receiver is like doesn't seem as hard as other positions because of the understanding. Like you've seen even older players like Ronald Curry used to play for the Raiders. We listed a few. Do you think it's because of knowing the offense already, and it's just more just learning the ins and outs of the route tree?
It's tough. I guess the easiest way I would describe it is at quarterback, the way they teach you is completely different as well. So at quarterback in the room, you have to learn defensive coverage, offensive pass blocking schemes, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8 man protections. You need to know what routes are coming, what blitz packages are happening week to week. At receiver, you just need to learn the receiver concepts. Or like on this concept, I have this route. Yeah. So you're missing all of that other stuff. And so the quarterback's looking at the picture, the receiver is the picture.
That's a great way to put it.
I can see as a quarterback, I don't even necessarily need to know. I don't necessarily know like which receiver in particular is going to be in which spot. I know where the windows are where my progression happens. Where at receiver, that's the first thing you have to learn is like, okay, I have a curl route, but is the window is going to be a little bit different in cover 3 than it is in cover 2. How do I run it versus man? Do I push that guy off? All those things, the nuances you just have to learn with time.
No, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
So after your time playing receiver at your senior year at New Mexico, how was that the process after trying to get to the next level?
It was probably a lot easier than it would have been playing quarterback. It probably wasn't going to be an opportunity. So I continued to work regardless of my circumstances in college and was able to put up some really good numbers physically as a receiver. So I was that helped a lot because I still skill-wise I wasn't where I needed to be as a receiver. But I was a special teams nightmare. And that gave me an opportunity.
To piggyback a little bit back on the college time real quick, Vic, how was the transition? Because I'm from Oakland, Zay's from Oakland. And where'd you go again, Zay, for your first year in college?
Grandview University out there in Iowa.
Iowa, okay. You're coming from Colorado and you're going to New Mexico. I was coming from Oakland, Louisiana. It was a crazy culture shock, change of scenery, the whole 9.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you, coming from Colorado all the way down to New Mexico?
It's definitely different. In all ways, the terrain is different. It's a desert. The demographics are different. It's mainly like, I want to say it's majority white, then you have Indians and Hispanics, and not very many black people. So that was different. Like where we at?
So Vic, can you give us a little bit about your time you had when you spent with Seattle and when you signed your free agent contract with Seattle? How was that time and experience over there?
So the NFL it was a great experience, just getting a chance to be around the best football players in the world. But you learn real fast that it's a business. So there was plenty of practices. So that was Pete Carroll's first year there, and so he's trying to put a team together. I want to say I read somewhere later that he had set the record for like most transactions in a year, where he was playing fantasy football with a real squad trying to get his pieces together. And there'll be times you go into practice and they're trying out your position, or I'm trying to go and get extra work, and one of the quality control coaches was like a GA for the pros. He calls and says, "Hey, they want to see you run routes X, Y, and Z." Like, who is they? I turn around and open the window. The GM, head coach, looking, watching me work. And I'm like, all right,
Always
let's get to it. Yeah,
evaluated.
always getting evaluated. So you have to learn how to just always be on your game at all times. Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like that's the crazy business part about it. Like you're saying, like you just trying to get extra work after practice,
Right.
but it's not. You feel like, okay, it's my me time. I can make mistakes a lot. No, it's always.
Yes.
That's very it's good insight.
You also spent a little time in the CFL as well as Arena League too,
Right.
Arena Football. So can you tell us a little bit about how do you feel about these new leagues that's starting as far as the AAF, and then we got the XFL trying to make a comeback in
Right.
another year or two. How you feel about these other leagues and some of these younger players that's getting another opportunity, a chance to keep playing with these leagues being created?
It's huge, man, because there's a lot of good football players out there that are a year or two away from becoming where they need to be, and until now there wasn't any lasting places to do that. You can go overseas, and that's not really the level of competition is not high enough for the NFL to even waste their time looking. So I think it's a good deal. They need to. The biggest thing the AAF did, they're on TV, so they can get their content to the fans, which is huge. And they just gotta. The next thing they need to have this first group. There needs to be 2, 3, 4, 5 players that go to the NFL next year and produce and become household names. That will help to bring the success of the league up.
Oh yeah, I think that would definitely help the league. Maybe seeing Johnny Manziel in his contract with CFL, just getting big names in there
Right.
helps. And then, like you said, that was so and so on the AF, like Jaquan Gardner. We seen him. I think he's from the Humboldt State. Like if he goes, that was in our rusher. Oh, wow, that came from the AF. So
Right.
I think that'd be big, man. Yeah. So we're gonna get into what you do now is it's called Proving Grounds.
Yes.
Can you tell us about Proving Grounds? What you do?
So Proving Grounds Sports Performance is a business located in Pleasanton, not too far from here. I focus on athletic development. Every sport, regardless of what it is, you need to, if you can get stronger, faster, more coordination, all those things, you're going to become a better player. Basketball, baseball, doesn't matter. And then, but in particular with football, I can add the skill sets of quarterbacks, receivers, DBs. I can help those kids get to however far their ambition wants them to as well. And then along with that, I do quarterback training.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very unique. How has so since you've been doing Proving Grounds, is there is there any athlete that you work with that you feel like has been special to you in your time?
Of course, I can't call out no names.
Yeah.
What about players just made some great
You don't have to say
strides,
names.
progression?
I've had, there's
You've had a few, yeah.
in the local high schools, there's at the freshman level it's called fifth quarter, where it's for the players who want to play football. They're not good enough to contribute during the time that the game is determined, the wins and losses. So they have an extra quarter for those guys to just get reps. So I've taken kids from the fifth quarter and made them starters and
Turned them into impact players.
Right, and then I've had good players that are now playing in college and major contributors on their team. So it's a mixed bag of problems. I don't want to call it problems, but opportunities and I like working with all of them. Yeah.
When doing your training, Vic, so we know we got pro days coming up soon. Combine is happening as we speak.
Right.
When you're training for the two, and say for you specifically, like if a player came to you and he has both, he actually has a combine invite.
Right.
Would you train him any differently for his combine, for his pro day?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
if you are, in which instances?
So the combine is different than like just general training in the sense that you know exactly what you're preparing for before you get there. You have the test has already been handed to you. So I don't need to do all the extra stuff I don't need to worry about, because if you don't take care of the combine, there may not even be another opportunity. Especially if you're a pro day guy, like you have that one opportunity to show what you can do, and if you don't take care of it, that's the end of the road for you. If there's been a couple guys I've trained and my agent has told me about where it's a small school and the scouts will say, if you don't run a 4.4, you can go ahead and leave now. Mm-hmm. So they have to take care of business right away. So I'll the 40, broad jump, vert, 3-cone, shuttle, and then position drills. And even the position drill is not, if you're a receiver, you know what routes you're going to run. You run the curl, slant, dig, post corner, go. You don't have to, there's no guesswork. Master that.
Well, I know, like, is there a different type of materials that these athletes use at the combine? I know we were speaking earlier about, before the show, about track cleats, certain cleats made just for the 40, for the 3-cone. Can you talk more about the certain type of cleats these players are wearing?
The biggest thing is for the 40, I know every major brand wants to have the fastest person at the combine run their shoes. It's a huge marketing opportunity for them. I want to say it was Adidas was offering an island to, if you can break the combine in their or break the record in their shoes, and then Nike was giving somebody an island and whatever. So they have both most athletes will wear a 40 cleat that is different than what they'll run for their position drills, so that they have a light cleat that has good traction and will help them run the fastest time possible.
Okay. Can you break down some of the training tips you give guys when they do their 40s, and some that might get overlooked, or some fine nuances and details that don't get enough exposure that you need to have during that training process to get ready for a fast 40?
Yeah, sure. The biggest thing is, it's really two things. Your 40 starts with your 10. If you have to get out. It's mostly an acceleration event. So if you can't get from 0 to 60 in a fast time, then there's just not enough room to get up to top speed. That's what they're measuring. And then the second thing is stay relaxed. A lot of guys think if I try harder, I'll run faster. Or it's kind of counterintuitive. You want to stay relaxed and let your muscles move fluidly, and that will help you to run faster.
Okay. During my time in college, I know I was going to ask you, like, how do you feel about, I guess we call them weight room warriors, some of these guys that, they can kill these numbers, killed 40 or whatever, but they don't have the same impact on the field. And then I know when I was in college, my college coach, we did lift weights, but we made sure it was targeting specific joints or muscles. Like, right. I know the main thing with my coach, we always did squats or cleans from the ground because we always wanted to work on that triple extension. Mm-hmm. I know that's big too, especially for when you're running the 40, right. Like, what is it, your hip, knees, and ankles moving all in one, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Training is kind of, a lot of the major points of training haven't really changed in 50 years. But the way some of the biggest changes have come from recovery and regeneration techniques, where a lot of guys are getting smarter and realize you don't have to beat your body up every single time you come into the weight room, and eating what you eat and what you put in your body matters a whole lot. the challenge for a strength coach is his job isn't necessarily to get you combine ready. It's to get you ready for the season. So what his focus is going to be, or her focus is going to be tailored towards that, and not necessarily helping you get to the combine. A lot of guys, some people stay home or to their school and train, and then a lot of these guys are going to basically resorts and spending their 8 weeks there getting ready.
Yeah, that's good insight, definitely. I don't know, is there any, I don't know if you've been following the combine recently, is there any, player you think that sticks out to you that's going to have those crazy numbers?
I'm not sure. I haven't been able to follow as much this year as I have in the past. I know John Ross, was it 2 years ago, broke the 40 record. There's always one guy that you don't hear about that is just going to do some things you don't think are humanly possible. I remember my time in Seattle, there was a guy named Jamison Cons. He was a 7th-round pick, tight end from Kent State. He was like 6'3", 235 maybe. He ran 4'3", 11-foot broad, like 48-inch vert. It was, or maybe not 48, it was like 42-inch vert. It was, and that got him drafted.
Still went for it. It's time to change the club.